from PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcaster. Whether you're on a train to the good place, to Slumber Town, or the medium place, or you say, Scoots, I'm in a great place, I'm in bed, or it's about to get a lot better. As soon as you go off topic and start rambling, and as soon as I can stop listening to you, oh boy, are things going to get cozy in here. And I say, great, that's great. I'm glad. Thanks, regular listener. But if you're a new listener, you might be confused, concerned and confused. Conferred. No, that's already a word. And I just rhymed. And you know what rhymes with conferred is, it was something that would rate the quality of my rhymes. It starts with a T and ends with T-U-R-D. For everybody out there that needs a giggle. If you need more giggles or something just, not quite that engaging, you're in the right place. It's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. All right, everybody, it's Scoots here. I'm trying to get these patron messages as quick as I can. But if you use it on a regular basis, if you listen to a lot of episodes of Sleep With Me, especially compared to other stuff you pay for as a subscription, if you count on Sleep With Me and you're in a position to do so, only if you're in a financial position to do so, maybe you cut back on a streaming service, or maybe say, you know what, Scoots is worth eating out one less lunch a month or two less lunches a month. I want to support Sleep With Me at $10 or $20 a month. It would be huge. It also feels good. I mean, that's just something patrons regularly tell me, how good it feels to be a rebel with a cause. And you could sign up at sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. I also want to talk about some of the stuff from the last few months that the patrons gave me feedback about, is having something to listen to 5 nights a week. Every school night, every work night. Sunday night, brand new episode. Monday night, story only episode. So no music. And Tuesday night, another story only episode. People love those. Wednesday night, another brand new episode. And then on Thursdays, $10 and $20 patrons get another episode. Usually it's either an exclusive bonus show or an all intro show or a 4, 6, 8 hour compilation show. So think about it. Think about how much you get out of Sleep With Me. Maybe some of those patron bonuses appeal to you too, because I know the patrons, they tell me how much they love it. Story only episodes and night after night after night of content ready to go. You could sign up at sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. Be a rebel with a cause. Pay for a free podcast because it feels good. You get something back. And if you're not in a position to do so or you don't want to, that's totally okay too. I totally understand. And either way, whether you support the show or not, it'll be here for you because I've been there in the deep dip. Last night, oh boy, I'll save it for an intro. But so sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Allform. If you've heard me talk about Helix, you've been listening to the show. I got my Helix Dusk of Lux. It's a mattress I sleep in every night. But Helix has left the bedroom. They started making amazing sofas. So flexible, so modular, gorgeous, comfortable. It's actually the hub of my wind down routine too. Sophia and I, not only play games, we watch movies. We have real bonding time on there. We journal together as a part of our wind down routine, and then we meditate. So not only is it a fun place, Allform's a relaxing, special place. It's a focal point of our home. The easiest thing to do is go to allform.com/sleep and start looking at the sofas and how cool they are. It's so easy to customize. They use premium materials, but at a fraction of the cost of traditional stores. You get to pick the fabric. It's spill, stain, and scratch resistant. You can pick the sofa color, the legs, the sofa size, the shape, and that way it's perfect for you and your home. But then you can change it around too. If you move, if you expand, they've got armchairs, love seats, all the way up to an 8-seat sectional. So there's something for everyone, and they're delivered directly to your home. Allform comes with fast, free shipping. I mean, if you're using a store, you got to find a delivery company. It can take weeks to get it, and then you got to have someone put it together. Allform, no issues with that at all. It takes just 3 to 7 days to arrive in the mail, and you could assemble it yourself with no tools needed. I got a video up on our website, sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. sponsors. And you can see the sectional I have, how comfortable it is, how proud I am, but also how simple it was to put together. And if getting a sofa without trying in a store sounds a little risky, you don't need to worry. You got 100 days to decide if you want to keep it. That's more than 3 months. And if you don't love it, they'll pick it up for free and give you a full refund. They even offer a forever warranty that's literally forever. To find your perfect sofa, check out allform.com/sleep. And Allform is offering 20% off all orders for our listeners at allform.com/sleep. That's allform.com/sleep for 20% off all orders. So thanks, everybody. Sleep With Me is brought to you by Progressive. Have you tried the Name Your Price tool yet? It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. It's easy to start a quote, and you'll be able to find a rate that works for you. It's just one of the many ways you could save with Progressive. Get your quote today at Progressive.com and see why 4 out of 5 new auto customers recommend Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. All right, everybody, it's time for the Sleepy Supporter Zone. The one part of the podcast I need you to hear. It's where I thank the listeners who supported the sponsors. That's really how we're able to be here for you for free twice a week. And I want to thank Ted, who supported Brooklinen and got some of those beautiful Brooklinen towels, the same ones I use every single day. So if you support Brooklinen, let them know about it. Let me know about it. Get some of that sleepwear. Get some towels. Get some bedding. Tag Brooklinen. Tag me in a social media post. Fill out the form at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sponsors. And I can try to thank you here on the Sleepy Supporter Zone like Ted. Thank you, Ted. The second part of Sleepy Supporter Zone is you getting the support you need. There's links to resources in the show notes, international resources you can connect with right now. Please use them. You're important. Our community is important. Supporting our communities with our actions is important. Saying Black Lives Matter, saying stop AAPI hate by being a part of positive change is what's important. There's links to resources that you can connect with in our show notes. And one of those organizations I'm looking to hear about listeners who supported is 1,000 Women Strong. That's 1K Women Strong on social media. You could use their Linktree link in our show notes. 1,000 Women Strong is a national constituency platform centered around the civic and communal progression and advancement of Black women. Please check it out. Please let me know about it. If you've supported them, if you've followed them, if you've learned more. And that is the end of the Sleepy Supporter Zone. Mystery Bard, a lot of people help out in the show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. Don't forget to check out our merch at sleepwithmepodcast.com/store. We got some new stuff up there. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. And what I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place. So I got a safe place here. I'm smoothing it, I'm patting it, I'm rubbing it down, clearing it out. And this safe place is where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake, whether it's thoughts you're thinking about or coming up for you. It could be about the past, the present, or the future. Normally, they're all three simultaneously, or they're like three beings that they keep saying. And then Oh, and by the way, taking the duly noted from 5th grade, I'd like to talk about 4 weeks from now. And then the person will be, what about the stuff you forgot today? But it could be other thoughts, whatever it is. I'm here to love those thoughts, really. I mean, in a way to say, okay, come on here, come on in. Just like in a classroom, in any classroom with a carpet where you sit on it setting, that's where my thoughts really need to be. Say, come on in and sit down. Did you say we didn't get a lot done today? Okay, I got a story time. So, yeah, oh boy, maybe we'll work that into our story with all the things, the podcaster that forgot all the things and then mixed them up. And also spilled lots of drinks on himself as a young lad, and will make mistakes in the future. Oh boy, I can't make any promises, but I can promise you that. So whether it's thoughts, it could be feelings about the thoughts or feelings that are just there. It could be physical sensations, changes in time, temperature, routine. Could be something else, whatever it is, even if I don't know what it is, you could reach out to me and let me know. But whatever it is, I really hope I can help you, okay? Because you deserve a good night's sleep. And what I'm going to try to do here is send my voice across the deep, dark night. I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones. They say, why? How'd you get your creaky so dulcet? And I'd say, well, it's more my tones are creaky and dulcet. It's a part of like the deal here. Where if you hear creaky dulcet tones, you can kind of barely just listen to me, because they'll be followed or come out at the same time as pointless meanders and superfluous tangents, which means I'll go off topic, I'll get mixed up, I'll make mistakes, but really I'll be here for you, to keep you company while you drift off, and all those other parts. So glad you're here. You could scooch forward or scooch backwards on that carpet. Oh, yeah, you can stand back there too. Sure, you could furrow your brow back there, past events, thoughts, and feelings about tomorrow. You could curl up in that position if you want. That looks comfortable. I'm going to talk to this human here, though, because if you're new, there's a lot of things you're probably going to want to know. And this show is very different. It's strange. I mean, admittedly, without a doubt, it's strange. So you might be skeptical or doubtful, and that's a normal way to come to the show. The show is built with one thing in mind, which is that you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a bedtime you don't have to dread and that you could feel neutral about, and you deserve the rest you need to live your life tomorrow. And if I can provide that, that would be the greatest honor I could ever have, because that would mean our world would be a better place. If your world's better, even incrementally, and this is just a truth, our world is a better place. And that's important. Your life being better tomorrow is important, or you eventually getting a routine where you could get some more sleep is important, because you're important. And that's important to me. And one of you say, Scooch, you don't even know me. I say, well, we've been through some similar things, or we've had some similar experiences. We all know what the deep, dark night is here on the podcast, and I know how that feels. And so if I can help, mine might be a little bit different than yours, but I know how it feels. So if I can help you, it gives some meaning to me because I've been there. So those are the two most important things to know, but there's a lot of other things you need to know too, because I've been doing this show for so long and I've parsed so much feedback. So these are the other important things to do or to know. You don't have to do anything. Sorry, that was just one of my many foibles. I wonder if there was ever a musical, Bob Fosse's Foibles. I guess, yeah, you just call it Fosse's Foibles. What if there was a statue, Fosse Foibles, or Foisting Fosse's Foibles? I don't know it could be a tongue twister. You're right, tongue twister brain. Okay, so, if you're new, though, stuff like that happens all the time. So there's a couple techniques you might want to know about. One, This is a podcast you just kind of barely listen to. You kind of just sit there and you go, okay, yep, okay. Really, foisting foibles. I don't think you know what foibles mean. I say, probably right about that, So it's a kind of, you look at it like clouds passing by. So that's one thing. What else do you need to know here? So let's see, don't need to listen to me. Also, this podcast doesn't really put you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company, to be your companion in the deep dark night, your bore friend, your bore bae, your bore cuz, your bore sib, your bore bestie, your bore bud. So I can keep you company while you fall asleep. I don't really put you to sleep. I'm just here to take your mind off of stuff and keep you barely entertained. Or some people, keep me at a lower volume and they say, you're just kind of like background noise. I say, awesome. It's my favorite. If my background noise is serving a purpose, that's a dream come true. So I don't really put you to sleep, but if you can't sleep, believe it or not, I'll be here the whole time to the very end of the episode. So I'm here to keep you company whether you're awake or asleep. That's probably one of the reasons the podcast works, because you could listen to it. It would barely make sense, but you could listen to it if you need to, because, yeah, I'm here for you. So those are a couple of things to know if you're new. And again, I'll repeat what I said before. If you're having a strange reaction to the show, like you're not sure, you're not comfortable, you're a little bit off, you say, I don't know if I like you. I say, that's totally normal. Hundreds of thousands, probably millions of people have felt that way. And all I can tell you is in the history of the podcast, most people said, hey, it took 2 or 3 tries to get used to the show because I'm just not used to not listening. I kept waiting for it to get started, and Scooter said, well, it already started, and it never gets going. So give that a little bit of it, give that some time and see how it goes. Or just give it a few tries. That's what most listeners say. So that's one thing. The other thing that throws people off is the structure. And the show is built with an intentional structure. It is adaptable. So I'll kind of give you some of the ways people adapt the show, too. So there's no wrong way to use the podcast. But they're like listeners adjust in different ways. But so the show starts off with a greeting, so you feel welcome and seen. Then there's support for listeners, so you have other options. Support for the show, so we can be here for free twice a week. That's what makes that possible. Then there's the intro. So there's like greeting. I guess you'd call it housekeeping or business, then the intro. The intro runs about 10 to 20 minutes long. And sometimes people are having strong feelings. They don't hear me say this, but they think those two things are the same. But really, the intro is a show within a show or its own podcast. There are like a few thousand people that listen to all intro episodes on Patreon almost exclusively. But the intro is to give you a chance to wind down and ease you into bedtime. In addition to me trying to explain the podcast and not being successful, it's your wind down time or you're getting ready for bedtime and a part of your nightly routine, ideally, if as you start to get used to the podcast. Now, there's some listeners that skip ahead. There's a small percentage of listeners that do that. There's some listeners that listen to story-only episodes on Patreon. And there's people that are falling asleep, and those are all great ways to do it. But for most people, or at least as you're getting used to the show, you say, oh, okay, I didn't like the intros till I realized I didn't really have to listen to them while I listened to them. So, I don't know, the intros are different every time so that your brain or whatever's keeping you awake, your feelings, your physical sensations, they can't get used to it and keep, interrupting things. Just like they're doing on that carpet here. Oh, everybody's doing such a great job sitting around listening to me ramble. Great job on that carpet. So that's the structure. Oh, no, that's not the structure. There's business between the intro and the episode, again, so it can be free twice a week. And then there's, tonight we'll be talking about The Good Place. In a way, they say it's more like a bedtime story. I mean, The Good Place is kind of like a bedtime story. So we'll cover 2 episodes of The Good Place. And if you haven't seen it or you have, it'll be nice. I mean, is there anything nicer than Chidi in a sweater vest or Joyous Jason or, Tahani in a conundrum or problem solving Eleanor? I don't know if there is, but, there's so many things to enjoy. So we'll talk about The Good Place, and then the show ends with some thank yous and some good nights. And I think that's it. I mean, give the show a few tries. I'm really glad you're here. I really appreciate your time. I really hope and I yearn and I strive, and I hope I can help you fall asleep. And here's the ways I'm able to do it for you, free twice a week. Hey, everybody, Scoots. Before we move on here, I just want to let you know about Sleepphones. I don't know if you've ever checked out our Sleepphones store lately. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/Sleepphones. We've got custom sleep phones. We've got a bunch of new bands you could check out. It's the most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me. Soft headphones in a headband, perfect for bedtime. They have 3 different models, a corded one, a wireless one, and then one with wireless charging. Listeners love them. I love them. I run in sleep phones. I use sleep phones when I sleep on the road. I keep a pair in my suitcase all the time. And you could get yours, the most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me, at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleepphones. And be sure to use the promo code SLEEPWITHME. It'll save you a little bit of money on your order. That's sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleepphones, and use Sleep With Me at checkout. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about Season 2, Episode 4, Existential Crises. And it opens with, I got an actual perfect pause on this one. I'm seeing the back of Michael's desk, the back of his office chair, really nice office chair. And I just happened to pause it at the right time, facing away from whoever would be Michael's guest. We have a dragonfly. We have that flower thing that it doesn't look like it's a candy bowl. The desk set, we know who's there because I already watched the episode a bunch of times. It's Vicky. She's facing the book that's open on the stand. And she's going to put her feet up on the desk, according to my notes, and then chair facing her. Michael's in the chair facing her. Does he have a book in his lap? Question mark. Plaid shirts, tie with circles, hands in reports, page mix with Pikachu. That's not what that says. One page, my with Pikachu. Winston and Gunnar are there. They have some sort of plan. Eleanor, Janet, Jansen seems not so bad, so basic. Something else I can't read. Chapter 18, Coast is clear. Let's see what actually happens. Vicky spins, puts her feet up on the desk. She's pretty confident. It looks like there was a Trojan horse also on, Michael says humans don't suspect anything. Yeah, Vicky says, because we're doing such a great job. Sure are, Michael says. Here's my ideas for, here's my report. Oh, Vicky says, too long. From now on, your memos are 1 page max with pictures. Quentin over here. He's got a new idea for Tahani. We're going to have a good birthday party for Gunnar. And it's going to be better than her party while she has one. Michael's like, wow, you're incredible. I think there's flowers on Michael's tie, not circles. Now he's talking to Tahani and Jason. They say, it doesn't seem so bad. They have basic ideas. And then he's complaining about their working. Everybody's been working for 1,000 years, or at least they have. The episode opens. Oh, he uses millennial. That's why. Then we're in Ethics 101. Chidi's writing on the board. And they say, what should we call you? What sort of semi-supreme being? Chidi's ready for the first lesson. Tahani and Jason aren't there because they're working with he says, okay, Michael says, I don't like your syllabus. It doesn't do it for me. And she just goes, we have to start somewhere. And Michael's really throwing shade on humans. Oh, boy. I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to be goofy, and I have fingers. Oh, boy, is that silly. Proceed. Tahani and Jason are setting up a party. Now, this was pretty cool. I didn't notice it at this moment, but later, so I'll tell you now. I'll probably tell you again because I'll forget. This is in a hotel lobby of a hotel, or not the lobby. I guess you'd call it the lower lobby or the room. I don't know. I guess it's called like a room. And I think it's probably a restaurant. Maybe I saw people eating breakfast or lunch there. But I was at this hotel for a conference. They didn't actually, I don't think they had any events in this room. They had them in a room off of this room. I did make a phone call from this room. I did like look at it because it's very spectacular. And I have a pen from the hotel. I was there for a podcast conference of all things. It's in downtown LA. Can't remember what it's called. Millennium Hotel. I think, or maybe that's who owns it. I don't know. I forgot, and I didn't look it up. But I've been to this hotel. It's in downtown LA. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the conference. But anyway, so they're setting up for the party. You're best at having parties, Jason says. Oh, yeah, my notes. You're right. I got to go through that. I'm not good at much. Kitchen Professor Cheedy. Ethics 101. Michael's a jerk. Party setup. I am the best. Oh, so she does take Jason's words to heart. Then we have Eleanor and Cheedy. Porthole. Windbag to GREP, G-R-E-P coach, grip coach, retirement, third about that, think about that for a second. He takes his glasses off. Oh, he does a double face touch to a run he does a monk, what's that, the person with their hands on their face, monk, M-U-N-C-H. Then he goes into the fetal position in maybe Cheedy's lap. We'll see in a second. Then there's an ad. Say you're having an existential crisis. First step, or shell, okay. Camus. Snack, Cool Ranch. Fleeting Nature. Flashback, Eleanor, Thunderbats, on two cushions. Oh, was she watching Thundercats? Her house is nice, lots of cactus in her house. Cheetos, I think is what Eleanor has in a bowl. There's a basket with all the remotes, so I'm supposed to pause it there. So let's run it. Got Jason and Tahani talking. Her hands are on her hip. Belgian, avant-garde Belgian floral designs. She have no more than that. What if I throw a party so amazing that it's better than the party that's supposed to win? And then they'll realize they missed my party. And Jason just nods. And she goes, I swore to uphold the hostess code. I, Tahani Al-Jamil, will do my level best to make every event too much. Let's do my 2008 fundraiser from Zurich. No, 2007, even better. And Janet loves it. Tahani, there's a zoom on her laughing. Michael's ripping out books, ripping out pages from a book. Eleanor's like, I'm the best student. Like, and she goes, this isn't your fault, Cheedy. Yeah, he's not a good person. That's a problem. And then Cheedy says, no, Michael can't he's immortal. So how's he supposed to find out about being human if he doesn't have consequences for his actions? Oh, yeah, I was talking about the porthole because the porthole looks like it looks in on a breakfast nook that I've not identified. It could be Eleanor's bedroom, but or like another lounge area. She goes, isn't it weird the pants have two legs? Why don't they have no legs? And she goes, a skirt? So Michael's chilling. And they say, Michael, is there a big farm for you? He goes, yeah, early or retirement. He goes, if you really make a mistake, you get retired. And it's not great. Involves a ladle and molecules. So ladle that does molecules and a sun. And both their arms are crossed. Michael's hands on his knee. Chidi has one of those webbed belts I had like in 4th grade. I don't even know if I had one. Maybe it's not a web belt. Maybe it's like what is that called? Something. But anyway, what about emptiness, nothingness? Well, think about that for a while, Michael. And this is some great Ted Danson acting. He's able to change his things. He says, so that would be it. I'd be big farm is like that. I'd be de-existed like in those books. He's munking his face and rubbing it. Chidi opens his arms with joy. And then he has to fall over into Chidi's lap as he's kind of accepting. And Chidi goes, we're getting somewhere now. Oh, boy. You betcha. And he goes, this is good. It's an existential crisis. That's what people go through, when we think about he goes, we can work through this. Eleanor's like, I don't know. First step towards understanding ethics, or it won't work out, Chidi says. And then he goes, Eleanor, let me talk. Oh, let me go grab some Camus. And she says, how you doing? She rubs his head. Can I get you a snack? What do you eat? Cool Ranch? I don't know. And he goes, I'm searching for meaning, fleeting nature of existence. Eleanor says, it's easy. He goes, once you think it's not a big deal, when you learn about it as a kid. So then they go to her house as a kid. Nice rug and everything. Her mom comes in. Max, your dog, is now living on the farm, so that's great news. Running free, Rainbow Bridge, everything. And really enjoying things. Beautiful Rainbow Bridge, beautiful, really nice apartment at her house. I said, this place is gorgeous. Mom has wine in a straw. 2 remotes and a couple other things in one of the baskets. There's another remote on the table. And let's see, like magazines. Everything's very neat. She's sitting or kneeling on 2 big pillows as close to the TV as possible. It is also Phoenix style because there's like a little bit of a southwestern feel and all the cactus, I guess. Young Eleanor is in maybe Oshkosh Bagosh. She's in what do you call that thing? What is that called? Corduroy overalls in a coral color. And then a striped shirt. She has a turquoise hair clip or whatever barrette that matches her one of the stripes on her shirt. And then we go to Tahani's party. This is, I think, when I realized I've been in that room before. Because Tahani's on the 2nd floor kind of balcony. And I said, I stood up there and looked in this room. And they say, okay, Michael, he's stressed. Jason says, oh, I've been through that, man. You'll be okay. Philosophy, too much philosophy. And we got to cheer him up. Even Eleanor says ennui, which we looked up a couple of years ago. And I saw it. I said, I still don't know what that word is or how to spell it, but now I do. It's like, it looks like some sort of herding animal, Nenuui or something. You see, is that like one of those like furry yaks? That's another kind of yak, right? Ennui. And they say, okay. And then Tahani's like, this party's going to be jumping soon unless I'm sorely mistaken. Then we go to Gunner's birthday party. There's a giraffe, Build-A-Bear, fireworks, plumes. They sit Michael down. They say, stay calm, repress things. ice sculpture, put on a fake smile, like when people, talk about their kids, welcome to the party. We got like flying stuff, playing around with animals, really cool things, falcons, ball pit, puppy pit, where you can just lie around with puppies. And if you ever want to sit in a kangaroo pouch, Jason goes, my whole dang life. And he goes, this is a great party. I gotta go. And they go, Tahani, you look miserable with this party. Just like that. Perfect. Where's Michael? Oh, boy. Then Michael pulls up in a Ferrari. And he's dressed kind of like he would be in Miami Vice. And he's acting all cool. Like, so a white suit with like kind of a linen and a turquoise and linen shirt that maybe we'll see a season or two later on Cheaty in a different circumstance. And then Janet has changed to Jeanette. She's supposed to laugh at Michael's jokes and be, pretend she's not the most competent, intelligent being on the, in existence. And how many quarterbacks, she's a lot of good jokes. And I'm like, because this repression is awesome. He's dancing around. His hair's loose. Like acting like he had too much Red Bull, which I think even comes up. Cut to a commercial. He's showing his earring. I forgot that he had an earring. And Eleanor goes, yeah, this is a pretty standard thing in Arizona. This is kind of a midlife thing. Tattoo. She goes, no, this is worse. If this is like absurdity and either you confront it or you're in denial. A Jenga tower of sadness. And Eleanor goes, he's pretty fragile. He's only been around, he's only realized it for a few minutes. Then they zoom on Eleanor. She goes, she's saying her dad, she's with her date, and she's saying bye-bye to her father. Let me hop back to my notes, though. Ennui bowl, big bowl of ennui, burner toner, philosophy, high five. Been in that hotel. Happy birthday, Gunner. Michael has balloons, animals, flying, puppy pits, kangaroo pouch. My whole life. Great. Ferrari, white suit, turquoise shirt, Jeanette, still me. Earring, repressing your feelings, Ray-Bans, talking earrings, midlife, no denial, Jenga tower. Eleanor and Dad, date, something, Mom and wine straw, Doug very beardy, not a roast, not sad. I'm fine. Pause, other guest. I guess I got to pause it for other guests. So let's see. Eleanor and her boyfriend are talking. Mommy's here. Yeah, so we got not a great view, but on one side, we got 1, 2. A lot of the guests are in shorts. Maybe I was supposed to pause it on something else. I don't see anything super unique here. Who's this tall drink of wine? It's my boyfriend, Sam. Sam, this is my sister, Mom says. Her purse clashes with her skirts. And she's not really, Mom's not behaving appropriately. F-A-R-T in the shape of a man. And she's like, yeah, how this is my shining moment. And some of the guests are looking at her like clutching one another. The mom, like, oh my goodness. High five. She tries to hold his hand. She slips him her room key. And she goes, holy cow. And then we go back to the party. Good. Vicky says, thanks for coming to Gunner's party. Bit of a mix-up. I guess Tahani also had a birthday party at the restaurant, so that's helpful. We could head over there. And Tahani says, this party's better. I say, I'm sure yours is good, but she goes, my decor is pretty good, but I don't have actual unicorns. Unicorn comes through. It's got a lit up horn, and when it touches the ground, wherever its clops hit, there's rainbow circles. Michael wants to make a toast. He goes, oh boy, makes some speech about existence and not thinking it, like he goes, focus on something great like Dracar Noir, which I'm wearing, or a sharper image. What can't they ionize? Giraffe's still walking around in the background. And he goes, let's all talk about our favorite cheeses. Jason raises his hand. Vicky goes, what's going on with you? And he goes, oh, no, I've given in. You're in charge. It's all good. Anger's, I'm not about negativity anymore. And he goes, I'm happy you're in charge. She goes, good. Namaste. And he's like, you want to dance? She goes, dude, no. Dahani wants to leave. Jason has a little pet he's hanging out with. He goes, there's dolphins, a game of Hungry Hungry Hippos with hippos. This party's way better than ours. Oh, that's why you're not happy. She goes, you can stay. And she goes, I'm going to have a pity party. I might not be able to throw that. Michael goes into his office with Eleanor and Chidi, and he's dancing. Eleanor has a stack of books. You want to hit the clubs, Vegas, Dubai. And, this is when he's drinking Red Bull. And Eleanor's like, maybe you should wind down. He goes, can't stop moving. If I do, then I'll start thinking. And once I start thinking about that stuff, oh boy, too late. Thinking about it now. He goes, I was going to do some samba. Let's samba. And Eleanor goes, we got to pick a book to get him back to normal. She just says, it's not that easy. He's all over the map. They actually are sambaing. I didn't notice that before. Not sure a book can solve this. Eleanor goes, I dealt with it. And she goes, are you sure? You didn't ever think about this stuff in a deeper way? And then they zoom on her face. And she's in a Bed Bath and Beyond, and she sees a four-person toothbrush holder. Who needs 4 toothbrushes? Family, Greg from Bed Bath and Beyond says. And she goes, oh, whole family together. Very nuclear. And she gets down. Greg's trying to help her. And she says she gets sad. And she goes, those toothbrushes are close together. They could probably talk to one another about stuff and hold one another and, be there for one another. Greg's like, oh, boy. And then she starts crying into a toilet plunger, which is unbelievably amazing. And he goes, we have tissues. And she goes, yeah. Then she goes, a family pack of tissues. She cries into the plunger again. OXO plunger, too, I think. Same one I have at home. When I plunge, I use an OXO plunger. When I plunge, it's OXO. OXO plunger. I plunge with it. Anyway, she says, Michael, you're learning to be human. And, that's part of that's a big farm. And it causes a lot of feelings. And that's part of being human, those feelings. He goes, well, that's garbage. Crushes his Red Bull. She goes, yeah, but this is the deal. That's humanity. It's sometimes you feel an S to the A to the D. And she goes, I've been there. Everybody's been there. But Greg from Bed Bath & Beyond once said, cry all you want, but you're going to have to buy that plunger. And she stands up. Michael glares. Jason tries to get feed to Hani. She's kind of sitting there. And her dress perfectly matches some of the decor. Beautiful balloons. Really great looking party. She goes, I thought I could party plan all powerful beings. But, that kind of says more about me than them, huh? And she goes, I guess it worked. Am I really that shallow? And Jason gives another dance. He goes, in Jacksonville, I was in charge of a 60-person dance crew. We had this when we auditioned a new dancer, I'm going to quote all this because it's really good. We would rate them when we auditioned in 5 categories. What do we got here? Dancing ability, coolness, dopeness, freshness, and smart-brained. I don't know, is that one? And he goes, I give you an 8 in every category. She goes, 8 isn't bad. He goes, 8's the best. On a scale of 1 to 13, 8 was the highest. He goes, it went up and then back down again. And he goes, so lately you've been down on yourself. He goes, you're really amazing. And most amazing person I've met besides Michael. And he was kind of like a 10, which is worse than an 8. Tony says, yeah. She goes, that's confusing. He goes, you're cool, you're dope, fresh, smart-brained. I'm guessing you're a good dancer. So you're good at everything. And she's kind of relieved. He goes, you're awesome. Be nicer to yourself. She says, thank you, Jason. From 1-8 to another. They cheers. Then we cut back to Eleanor's. They're going over Michael's notes of how well it's working. And she goes, I brought you back from that existential thing. And he goes, we'll have to embellish your reports so Vicky doesn't catch on. I'm grateful you pulled me out of my funk, though. And then Chidi says, okay, time to read some Todd May. And Eleanor says, sounds like a great beach read. Where's Tahani and Jason? Then we bounce back, and they're in BED, and I'm not talking about, and Jason says, that was awesome. She goes, yeah, well, kind of surprisingly so was. She goes, we should talk about this. And he goes, how about some breakfast? I can make cereal. All right. And she kind of sits there, looks up, and takes a breath, and then says, well, if it worked, it worked. And that's the end of the episode. Let me just see my notes. So, Dry Car Noir, Ionize, Jason raises hand from cheeses, Michael and Vicky, Tahani and Jason, she's leaving. Ooh, pity party. Michael Red Bull office slows down, Samba lessons. I was fine. Small zoom on Eleanor, Bed Bath & Beyond. Toothbrushes, family close. Sure, cries into plunger, ahem. Goes to talk to Michael. That's the deal. Michael thinks post-party sadness, another piece of Jason wisdom. Eleanor, Michael, short sleeves, kind of almost a flannel shirt. Michael is grateful. Todd May, I put post-coital. Tahani okay with it? And what does that say? EMH or EMA? I don't know. Oh, and then we roll into episode 5, Trolley Problem. My notes here, let's see. Tackle, model setup, okay, so pause on that. Chalkboard, Jason calls, thought experiment, keep a swiping, iconic trolley, or ironic trolley. I think it's iconic, though. But it's a cable car. Choice, Apple, choice something. Michael has been drawing, voice bubble, great work. Got us all. Oh, so that's Michael's art that he does. Well, so Chidi's teaching the trolley problem. Michael's not listening. He's drawing like the opposite of what Chidi's trying to teach. Then Chidi makes him write on the board, people equal good. Then we go to chapter 19. We zoom up for the trolley. Hang out, smoothie time, cuddle up. Who cares? I guess smoothie time's probably, maybe that was my code word. I don't know. Why don't you want anyone to know? Maybe you should talk to someone. Kitchen's full of books, rap, musical, Kierkegaard. I believe in you, nerd boy. But Chidi was good, I put in his Kierkegaard rap musical. Tahani pacing and very therapist, in a way, therapist, close enough. Oh, that's with Janet. She tries to talk to Janet. I will try. And now I'm done. Janet as therapist, Chidi, Les Mis, Michael, Easy, all are bad. Did I say Michael has to write humans are good on the board? France equals automatic. Every character in Les Mis went to the bad place and everybody from France, according to Michael. A long time, all of it. Station bread, 17 or negative 17. Oh, stealing bread is negative 17 or negative 20 if it's a baguette. So that was like Aladdin and Jean Valjean. Scarce of Sacre Blue, Victor Hugo. Echelon Duke rule. That's what, that's Tahani's rule for, you got to be a Duke or graduated from better than Duke to hang with Tahani. I did daily with Larry Hemsworth. What are you doing sitting in a room? Jason's side. Eleanor shows up for Chidi and Michael. No right answer. I just have more than you, so theoretics. Let's try. Snaps fingers. This is all stuff you could see on the Universal Studios tour. Cable car, 824. Worker, the station wagon. One of the station wagons we had as a kid, like with the wood sides, like fake wood, station wagon in blue. Also a hot dog cart, movie. Oh, the movies at the movie theater are Strangers on a Train and Bend It Like Beckham. No time. Oh, okay. What did we learn? Ad. Then we have Chidi Frozen. None of it real. But there have to be stakes, Michael says. Connect with the material more. I'm sorry. Find Henry. He has his boots. They're stuck. Calculate a book. The Ethics Express. Cool ethical speaker. Jason Tahani says Tahani soft and smooth like water balloons. Scented who for classic are backers. Couples therapy question mark. Fern. Floating thumb. This not lady. Something up Chidi. Dude, what the fork? Eleanor, unethical. Michael gets busted. Old habits. My bad. I was just letting off steam. No longer welcome. Get the fork out. Very Wonka. Chidi book pause or something. Menu food is words. Eleanor apologizes. No takebacks. Sweaty forehead. Stress grimace. Eleanor, no. I can thread of one. Back to Tahani and Jason. Fresh flowers. Keep it on the DL. You grab my butt, but you do sit in a lot of gum. Frog bark or frog book. Something pause, feet on something. Michael pause, feet on desk. Pulling on Eleanor, lashing out. Classic shell strap, 100% on you. Michael's speech for opposite, process, ship, this, something. Pity balloon guys, pop. He gives everybody gifts. Pikachu balloon. a giant diamond for Tahani. Chidi, old notebook of Kant. Chidi throws it in the trash. That's a bribe, not an apology. Oh, shrimp dispenser. That's what that says. It looks like ship at Diasanani. Admit I was wrong. I'm so sorry. I feel so lost and vulnerable. First he says it in a one way, and then he whispers it again. Two-way dancing, I put. Sniff, have a seat. Something, add. Tahani and Jason and Janet. There's a little bit of a shaking. Janet and Michael, kind of, we're on the verge of a total collapse here. So that's me. How are you? But that's the main thing. How are you? And I think it ends. So let's run through it from the top here. It says something went wrong. Oh, for some reason my download's gone. Let's try again. Yeah, it's just downloading. It says season 2, episode 5, the trolley problem. Chidi's frustrated by Michael's inability to understand the principles of human ethics, and Tahani confides in Janet. Looks like there's a total of 12 episodes this season, which would mean we have 1, 2, 3 more episodes after this to record. Is that right? One. Well, but yeah, sometimes the last episodes are longer. Oh no, 2 at 12. So 1, 2, 3. Oh no, 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is, yeah. So I guess, yeah, we'll see. Okay, so the trolley problem. Here we go. It opens on Eleanor's house. Chidi's teaching. We're going to tackle the trolley problem. He has, Jason's calling pieces. No, we're not playing a board game. This is a kind of model for teaching. Really nice model he has set up right in Eleanor's living room. Okay, he goes, this is a thought experiment. Jason makes a great face. Philip a foot, 1967. And he explains how it works. There's also great stuff on the board. Chalkboard that I didn't, Chidi's like, okay, which track would you choose? And Eleanor raises her hand. She's asking, for more information, beginning of thinking in an experimental way, I would say. She's like, yeah, keep swiping, to somebody maybe she had a conflict with. Chidi says, no one like that. And Tahani says, I've been on an ironic trolley. And Chidi says, okay, what about other things? How does it change? What if, what do you think? What if it's not a trolley? And Michael's acting like he's paying attention. And then he just shows this great drawing he made, like I said earlier, that says, hey, great job, Michael. You fixed it in the worst way possible. Looks like there's some broccoli on like a broccoli sculpture on Eleanor's thing. And great use of color too. There's very little color except where to make points. And Michael's saying, everybody stares at him. Says, yeah, write it 10 more times. Humans are good. Or people equal good. People equal good. Then the episode opens. Chapter 19. We see that Jason's like, oh, I got to go. Eleanor says, you don't want to hang? And they say, no, we got to go deal with something. That sounds fun. But we're going to get ahead on our homework. Jason, do you care to join? Sure, dog. And it's totally bad acting. Yeah, then they're in a post snuggle time. Tahani's like, Eleanor might be catching on. Did you tell her anything? And Jason goes, no, but why would it matter? And she goes, I like how you refer to our love making. And he goes, who cares? And he goes, maybe you should talk to a friend about it. And she goes, but then they would know we're together. And he goes, yeah. And then you could talk to them about why you don't want anybody to know we're together. And she goes, but I don't want anybody to know. And Jason says, well, isn't that weird that you don't want anybody to know and you don't want to talk to anybody about it? Eleanor says, hey, Teach, how's it going? Chidi's trying to get, rack his brain. He goes, maybe a Kierkegaard rap musical would get through to him. Terrible idea. He throws it out. He does a few bars from it. And he goes, I don't know how you're going to teach him to be good. It's like teaching me not to be so gorgeous. And she goes, it's not possible. Gurp, gurp, gurp. And she goes, I'm sorry. And then she says, I believe in you, nerd boy. If you can teach me and Jason ethics, you can teach anybody. And he goes, that's definitely a no. Let me give you a sample now. My writing is impeccable. Teleological suspension on the ethical. She goes, nope. Tahani's pacing. She says, Janet, she goes, if I tell you something personal, you can't tell anybody, right? And she goes, well, that's like a therapist. She goes, no, a therapist is trained somebody, medical professional, ability to absorb and process complex ideas. I'm just a vessel with all the knowledge in the universe. She goes, close enough. Jason and I are sleeping together. Normally, this is just a situational. Normally, I wouldn't do this. But she goes, maybe you can help me with this. And she goes, well, I'm here to make your experience more enjoyable. I'll try to help you. I'm going to need some time to read every book written about psychotherapy. She does that in about 1 second. Let's begin. She already has a steno pad in her hand, and then she was on glasses. Chidi goes to talk to Michael about the homework assignment of the ethics of Les Mis. And that's where they cover the stuff about the bread and stuff like that. Chidi's in a blue Oxford, top button, unbuttoned, not a button-down collar, which really looks good on him. And then khaki pants, webbed belt, or maybe whatever that's called. I can't think of it. Not webbed belt. A braided belt? Is that what it's called? The old braided belt. Michael has a pink Oxford, and then one of his more speckled ties with a different shade of pink, and then a poppin' blue, and then a pink pocket square that matches his shirt, but the tie really pops. And they're going back and forth, about Victor Hugo and everything. Also, if you look at the frames of their glasses, Michael has a thinner frame. Chidi has a little bit thicker frame. Then we hop back to Janet and Tahani. Tahani's pretty relaxed. She's leaning back. Janet's leaning forward. Oh, no, she's leaning back, too, on her side. Dallied below my station. Non-famous Hemsworth, Larry. And, Jason's not, Jason rolls in. What are you guys doing? Sitting in a room? That's cool. What are you doing? Sitting in a room? That's cool. Well, we're talking about our relationship with Janet. Janet says, okay, let me hear Jason's side. Nah, I'll talk for him. He thinks I have to control everything. And she goes, okay. And then she's like, I'll leave, Jason, and you can talk to her. Eleanor walks in on the trolley problem discussion with Michael. And he goes, why don't you just tell me the right answer? Chidi goes, there is no right answer. And Michael goes, this is why no one likes philosophy then. And Eleanor goes, yeah. He goes, Michael, trust me. I know more than you about human ethics. And that's where Michael takes it too far. He says, well, prove it to me. Let's take it out of theoretical and into a concrete approach. And he snaps his fingers around the trolley. Oh, goodness, Michael. What did you do? Made the trolley problem real. Let's see how this plays out. They're on the Universal Studios back lot. Most of the cars are older, like 50s cars, and then maybe even a 30s, and then some 80s cars. Chidi's trying to control the cable car, and he doesn't do anything the first time. He's too busy thinking. And Trolley stops. What did we learn? Go back, go to commercial, come back. They say, Chidi, let's talk this out. He goes, what are we thinking? And Eleanor goes, he's probably just stressed right now. He goes, it's just a simulation. Chidi goes, that's reassuring. Michael goes, well, there's real stakes, even though it's a simulation. And Eleanor says, what about the classroom? Well, we're in the classroom, kind of. But we're also not really. And they say, don't worry, none of it's real. Oh, that's why I recovered that, yeah. It is real, but it isn't. We have to take this out of a thought experiment. And he goes, you asked me if I could connect with the material more, and now I'm doing it. So don't shame me. I'm trying. And she goes, okay, I do want to help you understand this. He goes, okay, let's go again. They go again. Maybe we'd discuss it. Nope, you got to figure this out now, Chidi. Quick, what's your decision? Okay. I'll go down the one track. And he goes, oh, I forgot to tell you, your boot buddy, your boot brother Henry's there in his boots. Nice trolley. His giant boots are stuck in the track, one of the heels. And so that goes, Chidi catches the boot. We see it's called the Ethics Express. And Michael goes, okay. And Eleanor's like, is that really how it would go down? Ethically speaking, Jason's talking to Janet. He's kicked back. We kind of see there's potted plants in the room, vases, very fancy, even a dresser. She says, Jason says, why, how come if I'm not a scientist who forecloses on banks, I don't matter? Tahani can't take it, so she comes in. She goes, what about couples therapy? Oh, this is the bedroom. I didn't realize it's so big a room. That there's a couch and a chair in the bedroom. And this is when Janet's thumb starts to float. Small glitch, but if I'm helping you guys, that's fine. Whatnot lady has a thumb and wants to help you. Go back to the Ethics Express. Okay, that was number 7. 5 William Shakespeare's instead of Santa. That's interesting. And Eleanor says, this doesn't seem like it seems like we've taken this as far as it'll go. Okay, Michael says. He goes, so let's go to this amphitheater where everybody's watching. And he goes, this one's different. And she goes, well, let me think about it. I got the Hippocratic Oath here, so at least I know how to behave here. And Michael's like, come on, Chidi. And he goes, no, this one's easy. No Hippocratic, that makes it ethical. And Michael goes, okay, one more wrinkle. We're going to tell everybody then. And a little kid goes up to Chidi, says, how are things going, Dr. Chidi? And there's a trolley problem. Chidi goes, you got to be kidding me. And Michael goes, I'm finding this helpful. Really starting to get it. Eleanor's thinking in the background, and her eyes narrow. And she's about to, then she steps forward. She goes, Michael. And she goes, you don't care about ethics right now. You're just going back to your old habits. And he goes, yeah. He laughs hysterically, grabs Chidi's shoulders. Sorry, old habits. And she goes, is this supposed to be funny? Because it's not funny to me. And he goes, come on, man, my bad. I'm still on your team. I just need to let off some steam. They go back to the kitchen. And Michael or Chidi's like, you need us. And we need you. But He goes, what are you doing? He goes, you know what? Get out of my class. Get the fork out. He sits down even for his final, get the fork out, like just like Wonka would. They cut to a commercial. They go back. Eleanor talks to Chidi, who's now outside reading in a very stiff manner, really upset. He's reading Kierkegaard. Oh, no, concentrating on a table of contents. It's like a menu, but the food is words. Eleanor says, interesting. Can't believe I thought Michael wanted to learn. Really, he was just up to no good. Using the thing I love against me. Woven belts. She said that. I never noticed that. Sorry, Chidi. I made him take the class. He goes, yeah, not your fault. He goes, yeah, I don't think he can change. This might be part of his plan. Maybe he never intended to learn. There's also a Chidi's nameplate on the desk. He's smudging up my glasses with my forehead stress grease. Eleanor says, no, I don't think it's true. And he goes, well, why is he behaving this way? She goes, I think of one. Professor Anagonye. Then we see Tahani and Janet and Jason again. What do you value about Jason? Well, he's thoughtful. He picks flowers and brings them to me. Flowers I just planted. He goes, yeah, those are fresh ones. He's the least he's got confidence, not self-aware, and he's pretty good in the old bedroom. And he goes, I'm nice to you, you're mean to me. He goes, I can't put my finger on that. It's not working, though. She goes, I like you, but I can't change all at once. She goes, can you give me a little more time? He goes, yeah, if you grab my butt in public, like in a sneaky way, like act like you're grabbing the gum off my butt. She's trying not to laugh. She goes, you do sit in a lot of gum. They kiss. Janet says she's happy for them, but then that's when a frog comes out, and she says, wait a second. Michael's feet are on his desk. Chidi can't take a joke. That's his problem. And Eleanor gets irritated. She goes, this isn't about Chidi and you joking on him. This is about you. You're pulling an Eleanor. And he goes, which one? And she goes, rebelling because you feel uncomfortable, basically. This isn't funny. Lashing out when you feel like a failure. You couldn't hack it. Now you're taking it out on the teacher. Michael goes, I can see in 9 dimensions. And he goes, so she goes, yeah, you can insult me all you want. Another shell strap move, but I'm right. Michael says, whatever. Chidi will get over it. Yeah, and she goes, yep, that's another one. Letting the other person be the grown-up. And she goes, we're pretty similar. And she goes, this is on you to make it up to him. And she leaves. Michael thinks about it. Then he says, I apologize. I'm owning it. I'm supposed to be superior. Ought to act like one. So I thought about each one of you. Got you something that'll make you happy. Like presents. He goes, oh, that sounds good. I like how that sounds. Tahani, giant diamond. And he goes, I don't know what the big deal about diamonds is, but carbon molecules. So she goes, oh, boy. She's happy. Eleanor, never-ending shrimp dispensary. It's like a soda machine. Shrimp comes out of the ice thing, and then there's sauces. What do we got? I can't. Circus sauce, something blast, sriracha, garlic, mystery flavor, Cajun, Cool Ranch, and maybe one more, maybe avocado. Pikachu balloon that Jason can't believe, but he pops it by accident. And Chidi. Tough nut to crack, but I figured it out. This is a notebook of Immanuel Kant's that no one's ever seen. It was his musings or whatever. Oh, it's a replica. He goes, this is rare. Chidi's kind of, goes, he's even doodles. He's interesting. She takes a she takes a deep breath, takes a book, cool, tosses in the trash, not interested. And he goes, it can't be bought. Michael goes, what do you want? Me to give you a golden nameplate? Diamond bigger than Tahani's? No, please. And he goes, I don't want anything. Oh, sorry. Maybe I should have just told you. So first he does like the aggressive fake apology to realize it to himself. Then he does a quiet, real apology and about feeling lost and vulnerable. And Chidi just says, yeah, your shoulders are a little bit slumped, but in like a way, I'm open to hear what you have to say. And he kind of just looks at Michael, nods. Yeah, it made me feel insecure. I lashed out. I feel so lost and vulnerable. Chidi kind of smiles. He says, have a seat. Michael sniffles. Eleanor says, don't try the mystery flavor. It's white chocolate and not good with shrimp, but she has a little more. Then we go back to Tahani's mansion. They thank Janet for all the therapy. She goes, I'm very happy for both of you. But she's not really, because then everything shakes. She goes, okay, bye. Michael's office is shaking. And they go in there, or Janet goes in there. Hi. He goes, what's going on? What's wrong? I'm wrong. I got a glitch or something. Don't know what it is. Not good for the neighborhood. So that's what's going on with me. How are you? And the episode comes to a close until next week, which is pretty good. So we'll see you soon. Good night, everybody. All right, everybody. I want to thank all the listeners who became patrons recently and help support the show on an ongoing basis, for the sleep the show provides for them. I want to thank Tori, Marie Michelle, and Whitney. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Nicole, Stuart, and Doreen. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Penny, Rachel, and Teresa. Thanks, and good night. Nestlehan, Kim and CVTV, thank you, thanks, and good night. Simon, Susan, and Helen, thank you, thanks, and good night. Dixie, Lane, and Aaron, thank you, thanks, and good night. Cam, Michelle, and Erica, thank you, thanks, and good night. Zell, Rosie, and Brooke, thank you, thanks, and good night. Kelly, Katie, and Hope, thanks, and good night. Saneka, Jay, and Mary, thanks, and good night. George, Renee, and Tyler, thanks, good night. SG, Darcel, and Audrey, thank you, thanks, and good night. Lawrence, Andy, and Courtney, thank you, thanks, and good night. Lauren and Erica, thank you, thanks, and good night. And Rory and Nisa, thank you, thanks, and good night. Thanks, everybody, for supporting the show directly on Patreon, supporting our sponsors. That's how we come to you free twice a week. And then, what else did I forget? How do we get, we grow as a podcast by people just spreading the word about podcasting in general. So I appreciate that. And then, I'll tell you more about our referral program coming up here. Thanks so much. Hey, everybody, Scoots here. Before I tuck in, I just want to let you know about our referral program. That's where you can get great rewards for free, just referring people to podcast. And you can do that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer, REFER. And you just let people know about the podcast. Use this special link. You share it on social media or wherever, you share online. And you could even earn ad-free episodes and the way to get into our, our like little secret club that there's really no way to get into unless you hear an opportunity or you see an opportunity that I announce. And that's our wall of fame and our Dream Door Society. And Cornelia is already well beyond that in referrals. So it's very, very possible. And I haven't checked it in the last couple of weeks, but I'm sure a couple other people are up there getting close. But it all starts with that first referral. And you just let people know, hey, this is a podcast that helps me fall asleep, that I enjoy listening to. That's it, sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer, REFER. Thanks, everybody.